Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening or watching us from. It is Boombar on your Boom Radio NG, and yeah, it is 2 p.m. We know. It is another edition of the Legend series. That is a very different one. And I told you, like, was it yesterday or 2 days ago that we like that? It was good. It's a Legend series week. It's the Legend series week. And so this is also going to be very interesting for people joining us for the very first time. This is the bar where we give you gist on entertainment, sports, politics, and everything in between. Okay, I would move on. Anyway, and today is very interesting. Today is also going to be a very, very interesting day. As I think I'm going to move to Tokumba is going to give us a little bit of rundown, of who our guest is this week. By the way, we have the SRs here. What?
I could make it very difficult for you. Make you talk for 1 hour before we talk. Okay, so
Okay.
go on, please.
Really? Okay. As let's just start our gist. Yeah, good though there's always something to gist about. Hello, people. The one that is itching my body. You know, people that somebody that is slapped today.
Oh, don't go back on slap.
But yeah, the one that keep talking.
The slap things are quite. But let's talk about our guests before the slaps. Well, the slaps are really important as well. Because all over now is gone trendy.
It's
was
trend now.
quite disgraceful. I
It
have
is.
a right to say
It
that.
is really. Do you
I
think
have a
so?
right to say that. Look, I've said
It's very
something.
relative,
You know what comes with age. You can talk.
Okay.
Yeah, you can talk. Yeah, but we'll get back to it. When the annals of broadcasting, whenever will be written or put together, many names will come on, but one particular name will strike a chord. In life, our journey has always been with events, occurrences, and the things we have done. And I remember they always end up saying that may we never get to the end of it and regret the things we should have done that we didn't do. This guest had done a lot, she has done a lot. She has been a mentor, she's been a coach. She mentored me. And I'm very proud to tell you she's a strong force in the business of communication. She not only sang the song of what broadcasting should be, she ensured that the documentation did not pass the strict disciplines expected of it. Because when she was tidied up through presentation work, production work, she still remained the same. And a management of people she has been over time, a management of resources she's been over time, a management of the structures of institutions that have been known to have produced the best hands in broadcasting. I'm proud to say I came from the best school. Shola, whether you like it or not, you believe that. But you also will believe that. If you don't, I'm sorry, I can't help you too. Because
Are
my
we
guest
fighting?
today, we are. My guest today has answers to those questions of establishing the stations, keeping the stations going, ensuring that the right voices are put in place and the right concepts are put and developed. I would go on and on and on. So wherever you are, if you have been in tune to Nigeria's political and communications sphere for a very long time in ages, the name Tinu Aina-Badejo will strike a chord. Tinu Aina-Badejo will also strike a chord. And the likes of Radio Lagos in those days, Lagos Television in those days, and even great institutions that she has been through, University of Lagos, and she's a fellow of the British Council, I recall. I'm so proud to say we are fellows in so many ways, you see. Why are you saying something, Shala? Okay, please don't. I'm glad to be
This
in charge
anger this
today.
afternoon, eh?
Because I'm excited to throw questions to her and feature her on the Veterans Show. Thanks, Shola, for doing this. Thanks to Lupo for doing this. Let's welcome Mrs. Tinu Aina-Badejo, one-time general manager Radio Lagos, Eco FM, and also seasoned broadcaster of note and repute. But excellent, she's done a great job. The voice still sings and the court still strike hard. Put your hands together, please. Let's welcome her. Woo-woo. Welcome her. Shout, give it to her. Give it. And you see, that's it. She will also clap. We come from the same school.
Because I'm looking
She
for
will
the
also
person you just introduced.
exactly.
I am forced to come in at this point
Where points?
to actually talk about the humility of broadcasters. Virtually every person that we have brought into the Legend series, and we've only had 5 or 6 people, have said exactly the same thing after their introduction. The exact same words. If there's a way for us to cut these videos, Dolupo, on Monday, Tayo Balogun still said the same thing. Like, who is this? Who is this? Am I the one you guys are talking about?
He put some drama into it. He was looking for the
Yeah, where is this person? I just wanted to highlight that.
Well highlighted, sir. Oh, nice to have you, Tinu. Really
Thanks for
so
having
nice
me.
to have you with you.
To be here.
How many years now? Great years down the line. We did few programs together.
Tell me
Oh.
to
My
start
God, she
counting
did-
my grace.
yeah.
You're probably telling me to start counting my grace.
Your
That's
grace.
what
No,
you're telling me to do.
you can't even count mine. It's uncountable.
More like counting your blessings.
Yes. That's it.
Thanks for having
Okay,
me.
yeah. Really nice to have you. Your opening shots. Do you have anything you want to say first before we roll this?
How do you start when you are in the midst of friends and colleagues? It's like being back home. That is just it. You just have a sense of belonging. You have a sense of camaraderie. You feel that I'm home. That is it. And you speak the same language. You operate on the same level, and you just flow. That is just it.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. So before we go right into the interview and asking you a few questions, how to break a lot of things down, there are things that have happened in the past few hours that we're just going to breeze through a little bit. I'm sure that most of them you've heard about, the slapping and the sacking and all sorts of things that have been happening.
Who slapped
But
who?
on a good note,
Yes.
Anambra State Governor has a new governor. And for the first time in a long time, there is no fanfare, there's no Ashwebi taking. Remember the governor that was sacked a day to his swearing in, that there was Ashwebis that had gone out and all sorts
That's a
of
very
things.
gory one. What really happened after that?
The court sacked him now, nothing happened.
I mean, to the actual B and stuff.
Uncle T, I did not buy you.
The best way to salvage that kind of situation, you call the incoming guy that the court has chosen, the PDP guy, and you say, "Oh boy, I don't pay this contractor, so can you take over? just you pay me."
But on the flip side,
You know,
the person that was put there did not even plan anything. I'm sure the person didn't plan. He hadn't prepared for it, so he might not have that kind of money. But after so much drama that happened,
Pay for that.
Somebody must pay.
after so much drama in Anambra State, there was a whole lot coming up to the elections itself. Even the governor that was sworn in today was a lot of sacking and replacing and returning and all that. It was a lot of drama
There's so
people.
much drama in the political history of Nigeria.
Yes,
That
there
is
is.
one
I
thing.
totally agree.
Never a dull moment.
And everybody was
Never,
going on
never,
about
never.
Anambra elections is going to be one of the things that is going to determine if there's going to be 2023 elections. And then the day came, and I think a lot of people were very agitated about it, but I think it was relatively calm.
Yeah.
The only thing about it was that we know that there was very low turnout of voters, something that we always see all the time. After the voting, INEC had come to say that there were just about 10% of the registered voters.
Just 10%.
Just about 10%.
Well, that should be understandable with the atmosphere in the East.
East,
right?
yes.
There's so much violence everywhere. So people are a bit careful.
Everybody just
People
wants
are
to
not
sit
coming
in their
out,
house.
that's it. So it's safer to be at home and just be observing from wherever you are.
Yeah, but at the same time, we also know that the flip side, 10% of registered voters determining who your governor will be is not very good. But because at the end of the day, you can't complain.
Well,
Well, it is the
if anything,
person that is alive that I can compare.
Okay,
I like that
that
angle.
is that's a
I like that angle.
okay. Very
Like
valid
the
point.
circumstance.
Very valid point, actually.
Like that. Okay.
So at the end of the day, at least after all the back and forth, Governor Soludo is now governor of Anambra State. For people that do not know, he used to be the central bank
governor.
Nigeria governor. So he's a professor. I'm kind of hopeful. Even when he was coming, I'm like, okay, this person is a technocrat. This person comes off as a very smart person. And because when we really look at the terrain, and in the past, would I say 7-8 years, compared to the southwest, the south, the southeast, or the north, the southeast seems to be a bit backward in their in the development stage. One region that always seemed like they were backward was north, but north is not even joking anymore now. The northern governors, I'm sorry, but southeastern governors, they've not had it wonderful. The people have not had really good governors.
You talked about somebody being a technocrat. and all that. I've always said that fine, we can have the best when it comes to Nigeria, but be mindful of the fact that the technocrat is not going to play the politics by himself. He would be playing it with or against people. He would also be playing it with a lot of big readiness to face the opposition when they come.
Yeah.
And when the opposition come, they would in fact infer that that level of technical prowess it comes in with, it doesn't really matter to them.
They can rubbish that.
They could rubbish that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's where I agree a bit when you said earlier, that Nigeria's political situation
It's very interesting.
is
Yes,
full
I
of
agree.
drama, theatrics and stuff. So when you're coming in with all you know, be ready to meet with people on the ground level who do not know as much as you do, but please don't show off. And when you carry yourself with all air of respect, you'll get it done. But coming into an already embroiling situation, which is where I'm going for Soludo, he's coming in to that area which you have highlighted as the friendly pot. Yes, quite. It's going to be like a cauldron pot for him. It's going to be a little bit tough, not going to be very easy, but it could just be okay.
It depends on the attitude he brings on.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
and talking about his attitude, he had spoken today two things that are very interesting. I think that pressmen were asking today. One of the questions was that what's happening, and he says that as of today he resumes office today. There is no time for fanfare. We already know that the inauguration itself was a very low-key event. There wasn't so much about it in the first place, that he plans to hit the ground running as fast as today. Now, talking about this event, just as the swearing in was done and he was officially sworn in as governor, they decided the man just wanted a very quiet day and just go and resume office. But like you said, there's plenty drama. There must always be drama.
Yes, this one
It's
I
not
don't
drama,
know.
it's not Nigeria.
It's not. Oh my God! It's time to tweet. I must tweet that. It's not drama. It is not Nigeria. I agree.
Put that down.
Oh no, I'm definitely going
What's
to.
on marble?
What's on marble?
Oh my God!
But this drama is gender based.
Uncle T, don't let us go there. Oh.
Why?
I'm
We're
not there.
talking about it.
I'm not there.
Yeah, it's gender based. Let's
But
hit it.
anyway,
Are you sure?
Are we
you want
sure?
to
Are
go
we
there?
sure? Are we
There
sure?
must be a history somewhere. You don't just get such reactions.
Reactions, because
There
now
is some
the
history
story is
somewhere.
that the just outgoing governor's wife got up and slapped, that was the word, slapped the Bianca Ojukwu. This is the wife
what's
of
the source? What's the source?
News agency of Nigeria. It's all over.
Oh.
There's a video of they got up. There looks like there was like some physical.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and people were like trying to pull them
Separate.
apart. And the governor had said that if you are not for this event, please leave.
Okay. That is,
Literally
if you're
informing
not
all
invited,
of them. No. The noisemakers that they should
They should file out.
they should go out. And seriously,
The class captain has spoken.
like you said, like at times, yeah, it's like you think that you've heard it all or you've seen it all, then something else happens. A governor's wife. What were you thinking? In public, how?
It's a long story. It will be a long story, and there are other things
You
hidden.
get to know
Just
there
as
are
Tinu
several-
talked
yeah.
about, there could be other things we're
Oh
not
yes,
seeing.
I'm sure that is
So
not
it
a
just
today
came-
thing, but
yeah.
really,
It just came to the fore today, where everything was let loose and all that. It's so sad that it has to be, and whether we like it or not, it's still memorable. Everything happening is memorable, and the two involved will think back and feel bad about it.
you
Because
think?
I'm positive. Even right now, sitting here, I feel bad. I don't know them. Because it's going to be everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world, they will see that. On the day he's been sworn in, swearing in, it's
Yeah,
It's
and
so
I
tragic.
get what you're saying, that there's
tragic.
a conversation around his
The-
swearing in
the-
ceremony. That's the next thing
It has
that.
to happen to remind
well,
you.
that's it.
of
It's a
the
yeah, that's
swearing.
memorable. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm trying to say.
If that had not happened, it would just have been just
Eh,
any
but,
other event.
but swearing in ceremonies happen and nothing happened. There's no drama. Like,
No, you never can tell. You know, it's this we can say because we know about this. Other things will have taken place in other swearing situations. We
but
don't know.
at least it wasn't made public.
I think it's because of the caliber of people involved.
Exactly.
The
Like,
personalities that were
no,
involved,
I
that's
don't even think it's about the caliber of
what-
people.
It had been just been
I
too-
personally do not feel
Why?
that it is reasonable for whatever reason. Not saying that whatever she might have done to you or you people might have done to each other, all the best to both of you. You people can go into the room and beat yourselves up. But seriously, like,
There
where
are
are
some
we
things
going?
you can't hold
Effects.
back. Oh, there are some things you can't hold back. Oh,
They got
you
the
know.
effect they wanted.
Ah,
It's for effect.
hey.
Effect was-
Because the damaging aspect, we never knew what happened.
Oh,
We
yes.
never knew
All
what led
people
to
will
it.
remember is
Yeah,
that
it's that they
this
came.
was
ah,
dealt a blow at the swearing in
Not the
of
best.
the governor.
It's not
and
the
then
best.
It's there.
It's
in
not the best.
The history book of Anambra State.
It is
forever.
memorable.
People remember that.
Yeah.
So
wow,
that is-
wow. It's
Memorable.
It's so unfortunate if you are the
Yeah.
the subject of the
We are the receiver.
Well, the fact is-
If you are the
well,
receiver,
The fact is, it took place. And you're a participant. You're an active
These
one.
are things we really have to
Yeah.
watch out for as a society.
yeah,
That,
it's wrong.
particularly for women that are a role model for many girls.
Yeah.
They want to, people aspiring to get to that office that you are. You know, what do you portray as the person
Yeah.
that carries that office?
Office,
today?
yeah,
You know, it's rather negative.
yeah. It's sad. It's very, very sad. Another very sad. I won't call it sad, but I don't know if addiction has, like they say, people get addicted to drugs, people are addicted to alcohol. Are people addicted to fraud?
Can I answer?
No. You don't want to talk about it.
No, she gets it.
Are people actually addicted to fraud? Because it seems like someone that we're about to talk about is addicted to fraud. So remember Abba Kyari's friend, Hushpuppy, that is probably going to make him land in the US. That person that is that Abakari is his tailor consultant, tailoring consultant. Yes, that's Hushpuppy.
Tailoring what?
Consultant. Abakari is tailoring consultant.
Go ahead.
Because that was his Abakari's since he
Go back
said
to the
that
story, go
he
back to the
liked
story.
he
Go
liked
back-
what
go
he
back to
was
the
wearing.
story. I'm with you. Go back to the story.
So according to the story now, in court today, the FBI has slammed Mr. Abbas, who is popularly called Hushpuppy, with fresh charges, accusing him of committing fraud and money laundering of over $400,000 while in prison.
Nigeria no go gree.
Okay.
Even the prison gates cannot hold.
Oh, people cannot hold you, yeah?
$400,000
Yeah.
whilst in prison. I mean,
Even the prison gates could not.
could not hold it.
So, according to the story, they said that in the US, which is very interesting, no wonder they probably don't have a problem with going to jail in the US. Inmates are allowed access to phone calls, video calls, the internet.
It's a holiday for some people.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And they're
It's a holiday.
but
It's a holiday.
they're like monitored, but basically they're exempt from being monitored to protect their privacy. And now they're saying that between January 28th and March 4th, security officers at the correctional facility observed that Hushpuppy had gone beyond allowed internet use. They had found that he had purchased 58 EIP debit cards from an underground cybercriminal marketplace stimulus card worth $429,800.
Wait, dig the figure first. Wait, you don't get it. Was he? Do they go on exits or something? But how would he have done all that
Online.
I don't
how
get it.
do you even
He-
allow a prisoner access to internet facility?
But they say
Knowing
that
the
it's
kind of
crime that brought
there.
him. Yeah.
That brought him.
Yeah.
And then they made
He's
it
so
very
internet
comfortable.
savvy that once he lays his hands on this,
He knows what.
he begins to play. That is it. I mean, when there's so much laxity when there's I don't know.
But it's really a big problem.
Understand the
But-
nature
And it's a
of-
shame.
Because
It's a
it almost
shame.
seems like he's
It's a
addicted to
shame.
it. How are you in jail for a particular thing, and in that same jail you're committing crime?
It's not almost Dolupo. He is
He
addicted.
has committed the crime already.
I remember. I think it was a policeman who gave this story. He said when he was very active, a retired police officer. He said when he was very active, they brought a petty thieving. Yeah, they brought the guy into the police and they said, okay, we're not going to lock him up, but put him behind the counter. So they put the guy behind the counter to serve as a punishment. And after about an hour, they looked at him, young guy. Okay, let's release him. They allowed him to go. Before
I
he
hope
got
their
to the
phones are
gate,
not missing.
they realized somebody shouted that the money he placed on that thing, they should begin to look for him. So while they were looking for him, they said, no. Call that, stop that guy. They stopped right in the police station. He stole again, he stole. That was when they locked him. They said,
Like
"No,
my
let's
people
lock
will
him."
say, they are
collected-
following you.
They got the money off him. And no, because this guy is incurable. Why? How could he have done that again? Such magnitude. How much? $400,000. $400,000.
And you're in jail for
I'm
some.
even surprised that America allowed this talent to be wasted. They know what this guy is able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Can't they use it positively for their society while he's incarcerated there? Because there's a deal that they usually work out with some criminals that it can help.
I don't think they will. First of all, he's not American.
Intelligent. They don't believe
He's black.
any other person is not as intelligent as they are.
They are.
That's their
I think
impression,
so.
You know.
He's black.
So
But
He's
gonna
Nigerian.
He has to face the music either.
he's from the
He should face
jungle.
you know what? He should face the music either way.
I think
fraud.
it's ridiculous.
It's
I think
fraud.
it's ridiculous. These are the
We can give him
people
the job, but
that
fraud
put
me.
Nigeria in a very bad light. this person is not even 40 yet. So you say is youth, yeah? You say youth are the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders, like seriously. And these are the people that a lot of younger people look up to. A lot of people want to do Yahoo.
They want to
You
be
can
like
They want to
bet
be
some
like them.
Some young men in his neighborhood are looking up to him.
Oh yeah.
Even as he's locked up there, they believe that he's going to get out. It's a question of time. And he'll be out very soon. It's back to business
Gets back to
again.
business.
So they're looking up onto him. He's like a role model to them.
Was quite endemic. I mean, it
It
goes on in
is.
society like that. It's quite.
It does.
And it's frightening.
Almost on a daily basis, you will see the policemen parking
Packing
young men
people, yes.
in Okada, in Tokumbo cars, looking weird in their dressing, coming up with laptop, and when they always have a laptop with them or iPhone or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you can bet they work hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because you must drop something before you go. Even if they catch you, you must look for something for the boys. They are back
It's-
on the streets again. So that
It's a very sad thing, and
it is so sad that even if they catch some of them, they know their ways out again.
and then it's just a
It's as
vicious
if
cycle.
The law enforcement agency is overwhelmed with the gravity of what we have on hand right now. It has become an epidemic in the society. Fraud, drugs.
That's it. There's so many things that
is
a lot of young
negativity
people.
that
Yeah,
is-
there's so much negativity that it's like it's stacked against a young person. So if you are a young person and you can literally get out of it whole, at some level you are a hero.
Yeah.
I think
If
the
you-
family has a role to play too, because if you recall, I've been few stories in the past where the Yahoo boys, when caught, really, you wonder what the parents are doing. How they won't get to know, but some parents do know what.
Oh,
their
some they-
children are
some
doing.
know.
Haven't you heard the
They do
Association
know.
of Yahoo Boy Mothers?
Yeah,
What?
they do.
Association of Yahoo Boys Mothers.
What?
They have an association.
Okay. Okay.
Now.
Now.
Mothers of Yahoo Boys. They have their own association.
See where the problem is. That's
That
really
is
where
it.
the problem
It
is.
shows you the pravity of the society, now.
Society.
What?
People are so desperate now that as long as
Because
somebody
that's
is
the
bringing
thing. That's the one
something
that
in,
amazes me
They
because
encourage them.
a
encourage
child
them.
that is in university, like I at least we all went to university. Where is the money that you want to? The money you get from home is not even enough already, and then you now bring money home. How? Where? When?
They're
I
not
remember.
asking
I remember there was
questions
there was a
Nobody
time
asks
that
questions
I
anymore.
Ask
literally
questions
had to
anymore.
sit my mother down that you should be calming down. You get back home
Mommy, calm down.
and then maybe you have a top, and the mommy says, "I did not buy that top for you. Where did you get anybody to buy it?" Like, can you be calming down? So like, is that bad? Because she's like, I don't think you have that much money to be buying clothes.
Yeah.
So where did you?
Yeah, yeah. Was that bad?
It was.
It
So
was
I'm
that- it
wondering,
was that
how
bad.
do you people now go home with new phone, new clothes? How?
Cars.
Like cars. Like,
Yes,
where do you want to
cars.
just disappear? Like, just
People are
disappear.
not asking questions.
They're not
anymore.
asking.
Out
We-
of
we-
desperation. You can't say because of poverty you just allow everything
Yeah.
to go to the dogs. No,
It's not possible.
no,
It's
no,
not possible. It's not
You-
possible.
You shouldn't just throw up your hands
Something
and say
is
that's
just
it. It's done.
yeah.
You
Something
know,
is just not
we
right.
shouldn't be giving up.
Something
shouldn't
isn't
be.
right. Something
The
isn't right.
percentage of those who are still struggling to maintain the standard is so
Mhm.
little,
Yeah.
but that
Really.
should not discourage parents. We should continue. That is it.
So, finally, before we go straight into our interview of the day, there's something very interesting that popped up just now. As there's a protest going on in Ibadan, Oyo State, as we speak, as police shot at NYSC members today, and it's very
Bullets?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were actually driving in a private car, and there's a video and the pictures online now as we speak. You will find the bullet holes directly, close to the head of the person who was driving, and you start to wonder if this is where we are after everything that people have said about police brutality and all the issues surrounding policing in Nigeria. So this has led to a protest, and well, let me allow you guys weigh in, but I think it's time.
There's a problem because just a
Yeah.
few days ago there was
a big problem.
there was already talks. I think it was in Oyo State too, where a policeman had shot a polytechnic student
Yeah, okay.
in the leg,
Okay.
and you're wondering why are we still having these
Trigger
discussions?
happy police.
Like,
Eh, any explanation on the story, around the story? It's just like they shot them. Were they asked to stop or something? What's the story say?
there's not really that much about the story about what happened. But even if you were going to shoot, we know that
No, yeah, but I agree. I
They
just
shoot
asked
tires.
you
The rules of engagement.
They shoot the tire of the car or
The
something.
legs, if it's somebody that is in flight.
Yes.
You shoot the legs to demobilize him so that he doesn't move anymore. But you don't shoot to
You
kill.
don't shoot to kill.
So
You don't
I'm
shoot
like,
to kill.
where now? It now goes back to what's now the point? Because of course there was so much. There was literally a whole crumble of the economy in 2020, October 2020, and it was all about protests all around police and the way. And then, what's the point?
Any response yet from
Police died, civilians died all over the country, and here we are. We're still having this conversation.
Just go on.
No follow up from the police yet.
No follow up from the police yet.
Okay, I just know it's a wrong focus, it's a wrong target, absolutely, and I'm not going to speak for them, but I hope and pray it was just an accidental.
Discharge.
Oh, there is more
It-
than one, so
it-
I'm not sure it's
So it was deliberate.
yes.
It was
Yes.
deliberate. Yes.
I don't think it was accidental.
But I just thank God
Hear
that.
the other side of the
Yes,
story.
we have to
Oh,
pick it
yeah.
from there. But either way, you really don't have to discharge your bullets in such a way. I don't know. It's scary. If for thank God we didn't lose anybody. Okay.
Yeah, at least for now,
it-
yeah.
For now, yes. Thank God we didn't. But we have to be very mindful of the kind of job we do. If you sign on as a police officer, I don't know. I think people should begin to look at it critically. Your state of mind, your comportment matters as well.
Yeah.
I want to say I don't know what the situation
There
was
should be
like.
a regular check on the mental health.
There should be. There
Mm.
should be. There
law
should be.
enforcement officers, so that
Yes.
I think they do
There
it
should
abroad.
be.
They psych you out to
Yeah.
know your mental state.
Yeah.
You know, and you feel
And
there's something.
I
there's
agree.
A screw loose. Something. to
Something.
take you off the beat.
Honestly, I think that a lot of
Yeah.
Nigerian policemen need to be off the
so
roads.
much aggression.
So much. There's so
transferred
much
aggression,
anger.
you know,
Yeah,
Transferred
I agree.
aggression.
I agree with you.
Pent up emotions. Everybody has.
I agree with you. And on that note, I think that we should move straight into our interview. I was going to do 30 minutes, we did 34 minutes. Let me just.
Don't think. Stop thinking about it. Mr. Richards has been quiet. He's working on this system. He's not doing hush.
It's the life of a multimedia journalist. I am actually doing like a couple of things while you're having your time in the spotlight. You see, this is
Face your job.
okay. Sorry.
But really. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. So here we are. I think we should also say a big congratulations or happy afternoon to Mr. Bianca Ojukwu, who is here.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere
there.
Somewhere there. This is the Boom Bar. You had the opening, and I'm so always enlightened, so happy to be here all the time when we discuss with the veterans who matter. I told you earlier that the veteran today happens to be my boss, mentored, coached, yeah. And not only did I enjoy that, many others also did. She started off at Radio Lagos, and that story we have to get to the root of it to date, you know. I want to know how that happened. I want to know how that happened, how it began. Tinu Aina-Badejo is our guest on Boomba's Veterans. And if you are there, be there. Just let's have your views as we do move on. So I said earlier, a former general manager of Radio Lagos Eco FM, who's got her studies through from University of Lagos, and also a confined and authorized fellow of the British Council. Tinu, once again, nice to have you in the Boom studio.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure. You notice I keep talking about where it started from. And it's always unique to start from that point. We may not follow the chronology of where we're going, but really, how did it happen? Radio Lagos, how did it come forth for you?
Actually, it didn't actually even start from there. It started from Radio Nigeria, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria.
Okay.
That was in the year 1977.
Okay.
And then, that was about the time the federal government was divesting into states, 12 states then, and they were trying to set up radio station, state radio stations. It was only Radio Nigeria, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, that was the only station all over the nation then.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly, when these 12 states were created, they decided to have radio stations for states, you know. And at that point in time, it was discovered that they wanted one for Lagos State. And they were just wondering, who are we to send? Who are we to, you know, secondment and so on. I had put in about 2 years in Federal Radio Corporation then. And then this man of blessed memories, B.C. Lawrence, he was to go to Lagos State to establish Radio Lagos for Lagos State. And then he was looking for people. He said, you, Sheboma Lagos State, yeah?
Like that,
just like that. And that was how we were all handpicked, one after the other. Nari Gudimu, Yaya Salam, Benson Akinsoya, and quite one or two other people then.
Okay.
We were now transferred from Radio Nigeria, Ikoyi then, to start Radio Lagos then. And Radio Lagos.
So Radio Nigeria was still in Lagos anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
For many more years.
Okay, so you were just moved from.
Yes.
Okay, because in my mind I thought it was like in another state.
Yeah.
Like
Radio Nigeria was in the Obalende.
yeah,
Ikoyi.
the
Yeah.
what
Then
you could either.
Radio Lagos was in
Okay.
Hausa, Ikeja.
Yeah. Don't give me the feeling that it's generational.
No. I know where it is now. Like the way she started it, like and the way
yes.
you're like.
Oh, now I get you.
Do you understand? I'm like, oh, so they were actually
yes.
like the
Oh,
same.
yes.
That was
Oh,
where
yes.
I was coming from.
But Ikeja was not Isheri.
No, it wasn't Isheri. It was Alausa.
It was Alausa then.
Yes, actually, it was Alausa.
At that
Yeah.
time.
Yes, at that time. I
Okay.
think that's where they have the arts and Lagos State Council for Arts and
Culture. Now,
That's what they
okay.
have there now. At that time.
Popularly called the Valley.
The Valley, because it's deep there in the valley in Alausa, in the middle of nowhere then, because there was nothing and no one around there except for Alausa village that was very close to. Even the secretariat itself was not there then.
Wasn't there?
The secretariat
Yeah.
was still at Jologunaike Axis.
Jerry.
That was where the secretariat was. It was after that they relocated, when they built the new secretariat, that they brought them to Alausa then. So we were there, young, starry-eyed people, you know, innocent, you know, adventurous. People. Because then I remember I started at the age of 17
Wow.
at Federal Radio Corporation. It was immediately after I left secondary school that I was trying to get into the university. And then you cannot enter university until you are 18 then. And they were telling me that I couldn't go into it because I wasn't yet 18. Others would go and do and swear affidavits. But the kind of uncle I had, My
No.
uncle was
No,
then
you're
the
not
principal of Bobby College.
Ah,
No way. You were not.
And
you are
incidentally,
never going to
I
escape
passed through Pa Ishibiya as well in
oh
school.
wow.
There's no beating the
Wow.
system with him.
Oh,
You had to
Papa
go through the
Ishibi,
long haul.
yes,
You must be
yes.
18 and be certified to be 18. You must do according to the law, and so I had to. I was just doing some things, just playing around, not just to sit at home doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
More or less, you can say like the gap year.
Yeah,
so
the
to
Yeah.
speak, you know.
gap year, yeah.
So and I think I just went to visit an uncle at Federal Radio Corporation then, and then I think I was talking or something. I was talking in the studio, and then B.C. Lawrence heard my voice. Said, "That's a good voice. That's something like that." I started out as a studio manager, and then I was recording somebody in the studio.
Okay.
So I went into the studio, into the cubicle, to correct the presenter that I was. And then the producer now heard my voice behind the microphone and said, "Is that you?" I said, "That's me." He said, "Wow, such a lovely voice." And so,
And that was
whatever.
Whatever.
So that was how I didn't see any big deal to whatever I had. Well, what makes you different from the next person or whatever.
Okay.
So that was how we just, we started rolling, and that was it.
Wow.
And we moved 2
17.
years after from Ikoyi to Alausa to start Radio Lagos, and all the knuckleheads like us then, we were brought together by B.C. Lawrence to start, the station.
When you started, when you came to Radio Lagos, when Radio Lagos started, what type of programs were you raising up then? Because it was just a new station,
Yes.
very new.
That was the beauty, and that was the unique selling point of Radio Lagos that made it to be a darling of everybody in Lagos then. In Lagos there are different ethnic groups that people were not, aware of. They were not, people didn't see any importance to these ethnic groups. Radio Lagos went to these different ethnic groups, the Ogus, the Aworis, the Jebus, and so on and so forth. And we were packaging programs in such languages that were never heard on radio before. People never heard all these languages on radio before. It was either English or Yoruba, WMBS in Ibadan. You had Yoruba programs, you had a Hausa program, on Radio Nigeria, and those were it. And then Igbo program, those ones. So those were the 4 major languages that were being used to communicate then. But Radio Lagos now came and started paying attention to these little ethnic groups that are within Lagos State. And suddenly everybody could relate to Radio Lagos. Now that's my language they're speaking on radio. Oh, that's my, So do you have this kind of people? The Ogu people that people never heard, that's where the expression "that one they go, that one they do" came on. It became, a popular expression in Lagos. That fascination drew so many people to Radio Lagos that made the fame of Radio Lagos to just blow out of this world.
Okay, so I have a question with what you were saying earlier, and it was about starting broadcasting before you went to school. So did you actually stop at a point, or you were going to school?
I never stopped at any point in time. The very first time I left to go to school, I went for my diploma. What year was that? 1980 something, 81 or 82, thereabouts. We were classmates in that. And at University of Lagos, we did diploma, mass communication, at that point in time. We never stopped. We were doing it on the job. You will go for lectures in the morning, you resume in the studio in the evening.
Wow.
So we had such a hectic time on our hands that, but we never saw it as stress, because we enjoyed what we were doing. We were doing the practical and then the theoretical.
Yeah.
We are now having an understanding of what
what
you
you
are doing.
like, literally what you were taught in the morning. You come
back. Yeah. So
wow.
at a point in time, even in class, you were the ones even explaining to some of your students, to some of your
Teachers, this is
because
how.
you were on the job, you knew it, you had the practical experience that the other students probably didn't have, or even the lecturer too didn't have.
Didn't have.
You know, you only learned it through his textbooks, but you were living it, so you could tell them, you could correct if things were not right. You know. So that was just
wow.
it.
Wow, that must have been a very enjoyable time.
It was.
Yeah, well, it was good. I'm very sure. Please do.
So I'm a bit of an historian, and I'm just promoting myself actually. What I am more concerned about is the entire journey, and I am going to throw a little bit of spanner in the works, but it's not
Right
that
ahead.
it's not that though. I won't be controversial. I want you to go further back.
Okay.
As a 17-year-old working in the media, what was it like? Because 17-year-olds these days, if we draw a parallel, they live a shielded or sheltered life, and it's different now. At least for most of them. I'm not generalizing. But as a 17-year-old, how did you find your way to work? Where were you living? Where were you working? What was transportation like? What was safety like? How were you received in the office? How did you get the job? I want a little bit of light on that. When we're done with that, then we're going to go back further again to primary school, secondary school. Which secondary school? Which primary school? What part of Nigeria did you grow up? I will throw them again. Trust me. Trust me, I will.
Nobody's in order. Yeah.
I will.
I think there was relative security in Lagos at that time. People could move about in Lagos without having any fear of anything happening to you. You could move from point A to point B, and you are sure you can transit without any fear. Your parents knew that nothing would happen to you, that you'd be okay. You will go and come back. And then when you were on shift, because it came to a point, broadcasting is about the shift system.
Yeah.
And when you are very early morning shift, the driver comes to your house with
To pick
pump,
you up.
and then you get up, and there was discipline. It was like an inbuilt thing then. You didn't need anything or anyone to remind you. Maybe your parents might buy an alarm clock for you because they know this is the kind of job you are doing. They can gift you an alarm clock that will wake you up at the time. You are prepared the previous night, what you are going to wear, whatever, everything is all ready. So by the time the driver comes, he honks at it and you come out. And he picks every of your other colleagues along the road, and then you are back to the studio to open the station. So a 17-year-old at that time had a sense of responsibility at that time, and a focus, a sense of, what I want to achieve. This is the goal. This is how the others I found on the job are doing it. I want to be like them. I want to be as disciplined and upright as them. I remember we had the likes of Mike Enauro, who was reading the news then. Siene Razak Lawal, Siene Owe Brown there. Jones Oduaya was reading the news, and you're just looking at them as if you are looking at a goddess or at a god, and you say, I want to be like that someday. I want to, Martin Zoko, all of them, they're there, you want to be like them. And what is this, Sebastian Ephraim? You had the commentators, you have Baba Ishola Folonsho, they are all there. They are like legends. Ernest Okonkwo, all of them were there. And you want to be like them, so you are already grooming yourself. Nobody needs to tell you. You prepare yourself, you groom yourself. Oh, this is how they say this is how they sit, this is how they dress, this is how they talk, this is, that kind of thing. There wasn't, and I still think there is much money in broadcasting. There wasn't much money in it, but the passion that you had for it kept you going. I remember at a time when we had some issues with salaries being delayed at Radio Lagos. Remember that time? For a long time, we were not paid salaries for several months. And there was one woman that was like a lobby in a lobby group for us. The woman used to get some papers from Daily Times then, one old woman that knew one of our governors then. And she was the one that was pressing for government to do something about Radio Lagos for us. The very first time she was coming to meet us at Radio Lagos, and then she looked at us. Like,
are you serious?
Are you really serious?
Like that.
Tiny things. You know, I show what the one way.
Like that.
You know, but way. They saw us as big and alive when you are behind the microphone. But when they now came to see who we were, little tiny things, but the passion with which we were doing the job, the seriousness with which we took the job, people believed us because we were meticulous in whatever we were doing. You get your facts right, you do your investigation before you write your script, and you make sure that you back up your script with facts and figures. You go to people who know about the subject you are talking about. It could be your cleaner. It could be the driver that has the information that you need. You go there, and when you are now going behind the microphone, you are now talking like, you know,
An
authority. That's the word. You are an authority because you have done your homework. That is it. Before you came on air.
It's okay, it's okay.
I defer more. I'll call you doctor.
No, Paul, take over.
So,
What's my own?
in our deference, I will humbly take the microphone. A quick shout out to Winifred Adeyemi on YouTube. She's watching on YouTube and she says, nice. I think she was responding to one of the things that you said. She said, thank you very much, Winifred Adeyemi. Massive shout out to you. So, I deliberately put out a flurry of questions because you didn't just become Tinu Aina-Badejo overnight. And you've been able to answer I have a picture of what it was like as a 17-year-old working in the media in the 70s. So let's go further back. Where did you grow up? What was it like growing up? What was life like, you know? For instance, did you know about the national grid crashing?
Oh, God.
Everybody knows about that.
But because we are all suffering. But she will remember all NEPA days.
ECN.
It started with this year.
You know?
And then NEPA.
So the beauty of what we're doing is that people want to understand your journey and how you got to this point. But it's always fun. Kicking back here, I like it when people tell me, were you naughty? Be honest, were you naughty? Were you troublesome in school, or were you one of the geeks? Which one was it? But really and truly, where did you grow up from?
Okay.
What was it like growing up where you grew up from? What was life like? Everybody talks about, compared to now. Everybody talks about the communal living. Some of us experienced it, but let's see how it was. Were the fences in your area this high now? Or were there any fences at all?
Did you have gates?
Did you have gates? What was it like?
That was not.
So take us through that growing up days from primary and secondary school, and especially your neighborhood. And please mention names.
Okay.
Your mention names. We're happy you mentioned a few names at the FRCN, or like Radio Nigeria as it was called then. We would like to hear more names, your colleagues, schools, and all of that. Please.
Okay. All right, let's go from there. I grew up at Yaba, College Street.
Oh.
And I attended Methodist Primary School, which is almost a stone's throw to my house.
Yeah.
But one thing was that you have to trek to school, not too long a distance, but it was still trekking, And then I know that at that time, there will be times you have sandals to wear, and there will be times you don't have sandals to wear. And the weather was so hot, would be so hot then. And people, on your feet, you know.
I have a question, ma.
Okay,
Sorry for
go right
Go ahead.
cutting you short. When you say you don't have sandals to wear, like you go to school barefoot.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you must never say that it's hot.
No, like you know, like
Tutu.
you know, like
It's a
school.
Yoruba thing. You're not
You know,
allowed.
school, like your shoes are part of school uniform. Like
You
they
wear
tell you.
shoes when you want to do match past. Then they will buy
Oh,
the
wow.
white cortina.
It wasn't cortina.
White, trainers.
It was
What is it?
sneakers.
Yes, so
Canvas.
Canvas.
canvas. You white canvas with white socks. You know.
Okay.
So it was like.
So shoes were not part of it. It wasn't
treasured-
compulsory.
It was
By the time.
special occasions.
Oh. When
Okay.
shoes came, then they started making plastic sandals. So that was cheaper. But for you, if you did so well, they might buy cortina for you. You know, cortina was for the ajebo, you know. For the
Yeah, I think I know what cortina
rich hair. There's cortina or lady sabana for
What?
Bata,
What is
Yeah, I
it?
remember
What?
that lady Savannah.
What?
from Bata or Leonard's.
Oh, I'm not
Those are
talking
the two
again.
days.
Maybe so. This is good. Go back.
You have your lunch money, but you must retain some, because by the time you close at school, you must buy kuli. You must
Oh my
buy
God.
Go you must buy
Balewa.
Balewa. All those things are waiting for you.
There was Gurundi.
They are there targeting students when they finished in school. At the school gate, they are always there. They target the students as they came out. So you must have retained a little bit from your lunch money so that you can buy all these little delicacies. It was like your life depended on it. If you don't have it, you must have it. And that's what you'll be eating, rubbing, chatting as you are going home with friends, you know. And for those who don't have, you can get some. They cut into two, you give you some, and so on. So there was so much fun, you know. There was so much fun. You had friends, you know, and you are not afraid to take anything from any friend at that time. Because now you have to be careful.
Oh, yeah.
What you take from friends, what children take from friends. There are a lot of gory stories that we are hearing about friends sharing, you know, little edibles that turned into something negative at the end of the day. But then at the end of the day, as I said, after the primary education, I left at primary 5. I gained admission into secondary school then at Our Lady of Apostles Secondary School, Jebode. And I had quite a number of Olas, Jebode. And I had quite a number of friends there. One of my friends, I think she's now the commissioner for, what is it called? For this population, this thing, National Population Commission. Bimbo Salu, and I think she's Hundeyi now. You know, she was Bimbo Salu there. We were classmates. Senator Remi Tinubu, we were classmates.
Oh, wow.
Tina Okoli, we were classmates. Jimmy Shonekon, she's now Mrs. Adisheye. Teresa Ikefre, she's now Mrs. Bakari. I have so many friends. Clara Peters, we went to Our Lady of Apostles Secondary School together. Dule Babayale, Ijebode, and after that, after Our Lady of Apostles, that was when I said I had my gap year. When I finished Our Lady at 16, and then I had 1 year playing around. I went to Federal Ministry of Health. Yes, I remember. Federal Ministry of Health. I did 1 year there as a clerical officer, and then I moved to Federal Radio Corporation, and then it was through there, from work, that I was going to school. I did diploma, mass comm. I did a first degree business administration. I did my master's degree in public administration. All these, I never left work. I was doing everything. Wow.
So, what I'm getting is that as at that time, with your secondary school certificates,
Yes.
you will get jobs easily.
Yes, you could get jobs. Yes.
Okay.
You could.
Yes.
You could. You could.
So it was a thing.
Yes.
Like you had
Because,
jobs.
yeah.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
You get the job and train on his job, and yeah. Incidentally, broadcasting is unique in so many
It
ways.
is.
You either know it or you don't,
You don't.
know it.
That is it.
So there are some basic qualities you should have, and according to your revelation, somebody heard your voice in the studio and said, "Oh my, what are you doing?" Almost like asking you, "What do you do?" Okay, I don't see that really happening all the time now. Okay, these days is a bit different. So what do you think really more the qualities you had that was actually really good scoring point? Okay, apart from the voice that they must have listened to and said, "No, don't let her go, hold her down," and all.
There is a saying that broadcasters are born and not made. You must naturally have a good voice. That's a given. Nobody can train you to have a good voice. It's a natural thing that comes naturally. You're now beginning to develop that, you begin to train that voice and so on, in your diction, in your pronunciation, and so on and so forth. And then there is also basic pronunciation that you must have, that you cannot, that cannot be debated. There's no way you can wish it away. You cannot say share for chair now.
You want to
cannot
be.
say I'm going to church and believe that you find yourself behind the microphone. It can't work. It just cannot work. There are certain things you cannot teach. You say children, you say children. So these are things.
Which is really
begin
prevalent
to-
now. The H factor.
You know, you chop off all the H in all the words, and you think you cannot go behind the microphone. There was some adulteration at a point in time, particularly during the political era, when you have one big politician, we give a note to a niece or a nephew, go to a radio station, go to a TV station, because I'm commissioner here, because I'm SA here, because I'm that. You must put him on her on that radio. That's a no-no. It's a no-go area. You need to be able to tell that politician nicely that don't ruin this person even before she gets started in broadcasting. There are other areas you can go in broadcasting that are not as visible as being an on-air personality. You can be a producer, you can be a news editor, you can be in engineering department. There are other departments that are there that you can go. But some are so fixated on having their words heard behind the microphone or seen on camera or that of television and so on, that you must make that person, and it affects such people even up till now. There are some that you listen to on radio, on television, that have no business of being there. You might have a fine face and you don't have the voice that goes with the face. Must you force it? You can't force what nature has not given to you. So it's a natural thing that you must have that basic talent that nature has given you, that you are born with. And then you now begin to develop. You now learn the ethics of the profession, how to apply, how it applies in what you say on the air, what to say and what not to say, how to say and what not to say at any point in time. So those are the things that you can probably learn in the classroom. But the basic thing of the quality that you must have, which is natural, nobody can give that to you.
Leaving the classrooms for the workspace, okay? How do we continue, to teach the yet to be found, the brass tacks of the job? Because sometimes you feel that, okay, fine, the voice is good, okay, commitment is there, fine, but the other nuances or expectations are not fine-tuned. And this day and age, it's almost like everybody just garbages and just come in, do what you can do, and then you take your bag and go home, and nobody's talking to you. Let me ask you, what were those structures in place at that time that will keep you on your toes as a presenter?
A senior colleague is listening. and he will be ready to give it to you anywhere, anytime he sees you. What exactly were you reading? What were you saying? What rubbish were you saying on air yesterday? Or he will write the word out for you. Pronounce this, please. And once you hear that, you know you got it. You've been cornered. There's nothing you can do about it. And there and then he corrects you. You see, there are checks and balances that are put in place by the older hands, you know. But unfortunately, the new generation, you have a generation that believes that they know it all. They don't want to listen to what an old hag has to say to them. You've had your time, so why are you bothering us? We are OAP, what do they call them?
Yeah, that's what they are.
We are OAPs, you know, that kind of thing. And you begin to wonder, OAP, what do you have to offer? That, you know, it's like half-baked, you know, bread that, you know, they are presenting to the world now. Any money bag that can set up a radio or a TV station, a beautiful niece or nephew, a beautiful girlfriend can always go on air. And that is it. Are they trained? Are they prepared for the job? Are they ready? Do they have the right attitude towards the job? Do they have the discipline that this job entails as well? Because there's so much discipline that is expected of you. You remember, there is never a holiday for a broadcaster. It is at Christmas time, that is when you are the busiest. Easter time, that is when you are the busiest. Any public holiday, there's something special. A special program has to be on for the listeners. And who presents it? It's you. So your family will not expect to see you around during any holiday. Any special thing that is happening in the family, they don't expect to see you. When they see you, it's a plus.
Like,
you know,
really?
It is.
Really?
It is. They allowed it today.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
How did you pull it off?
Oh yes. And then for the female as well, those female that are married, you find most of them bringing their children into the studios. All my children, they'll bring them into the studio. There's always a colleague that is going to babysit for you when you want to go on air. So that the child, as I came from the studio, I went to read the news.
I like to speak about this gender bias.
Okay.
We have just been discriminated against, Tokumbo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she talked about the female broadcasters. But the male also go through the same process.
But they don't bring their children. They leave the mothers to.
Well, some of us do. I speak for those who do and did. And
sometimes I still doing.
Because I know for a fact that at Radio Continental, he did too. There are times when am I allowed to mention her name? It's not, no. At least, but she was there.
Okay, you know why we. You see, it was fun. What Tinu was trying to drive at was that you sign on as a radio personality. Is a family sign on. The whole structure, they are with you. Everybody is with you. Now, interesting thing. She walked in here and I saw Brother Lucky coming. It's just the same old structure that she's coming for her news, he's coming to drop her, and he has to wait and pick her. That's just the sequence. But in all of this, there was no distraction. That's where I'm going. There was no distraction. Why I'm hitting on this angle of training and standards and all, is because sometimes you go around to try to facilitate one or two trainings, and in such a class they are looking at you as, what's he talking about? What do you mean by, somebody tells me that she missed her news one day, she had to, because she had to go for school runs. And the fact was that anytime she picked the daughter late from school, they were going to penalize her and becomes a stigma. And I said, no, I don't understand. You took off from work. I said, yes. You went to pick your son. Where is the school? I said, Maryland. And you working at Ikeja, right? I said, yes. So who took that news for you? I said, well, I don't even know. Up to today, I don't know. And then it occurred to me that, okay, it was not really her fault. Who was double checking, who was checkmating, who was gatekeeping? So, she's not here. Okay, please, can you take the news for her? And everybody goes away, and that's the end of story. I remember those days. I miss my news, I get a query. Tinu knows, I must get a query. The fact is really, don't worry.
Something
happened, but
still.
You really have to answer that. Put it down. Answer it. And next time you want to do it, you think twice. Oh boy, could you please take my news for me? I have to do. That's responsibility. We lose that. We're missing those points now. And I'm worried because you talked about standards, it is affecting the quality of what they are dishing out. When last did you put on your radio to monitor? No, I really, honestly.
I get discouraged when
You get discouraged when you do that.
I get discouraged because of what I get on air. I get discouraged. People are not bothered about standard. People are not bothered about the quality of what goes on air.
Yeah.
People just talk anyhow on radio, and they don't see anything wrong.
Wow.
That's what pains me the most. They don't see anything wrong in what they have done. They believe that it's a given, should be accepted. I mean, personality.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's very sad because I know we're talking about this, I think, a few days ago, and I don't know. Or maybe the kind of, in my very little years in broadcasting, I know that you don't go on air without informing yourself about something. You can't just talk. Literally take it, leave it out if you don't know anything about it.
That is it.
But then
when in
there
doubt,
was
leave out. That's
there was a
broadcast
conversation that was on Twitter that some set of
OAPs.
OAPs were going on and on about, I think it was the diesel issue in Nigeria and how it is rising and rising and rising. And when I saw that, or I'd heard part of that thing, I felt very sad. Because, okay, if you are very informed, and the people were literally going on about how Nigeria is bad, nobody's saying Nigeria is good. But if you are informed, you would know that diesel and every other byproduct of crude oil except PMS in Nigeria is fully deregulated. So you know that it is the price of crude that determines the price of diesel.
Yeah.
So you know it is not a Nigerian thing. You know it's not a Buhari thing. It's not a Sanwo-Olu thing. But you're going on air to speak such gibberish.
Because they're not informed themselves.
And I'm like, I'm lost.
Yeah.
They're not informed.
What they get going.
And the worst part is that if you talk about it, the next thing is that if you reply them is you're a government apology. But I'm like, where is the part where we're not even supposed to have opinions?
Yes, you must balance any fact.
Or even if you at least just put the information out there. Or you don't even sound like you even know. I'm like, so where are we getting to? Like, where are we? It's very, and you see it a lot. So I relate when she says that it's very sad. You hear a lot of things, like you're just in the car, you hear a lot of radio, and then you're like, seriously, really?
In nowadays, can I say that?
Yeah, you're allowed, sir. You are, sir.
We got so many knocks whenever we missed out on the Thursday clinics.
Almighty presentation
talk
clinic.
about that. The clinic. You
Almighty
really must put that.
presentation clinic.
They do the critique. They do. I don't know how it works, But initially we were a little bit. What's wrong? I'm off on Thursday. Why are you forcing me to come? Don't go. You don't stay. Don't stay out. Don't go. And what was it like in those days? Putting those.
No, right.
Yeah. What was it like in those
One
days?
of the very
Was
best
it-
things you can do
Yeah.
for a broadcaster. The clinic, because you are able to decipher where you're going wrong. If there's anything wrong with your presentation, anything wrong with your production,
Absolutely.
people can critique and you can learn and grow from it as well.
Mhm.
The beauty of it is that you never know whose program will be the guinea pig for that week. You don't know who's going to be the center of attention
Yeah.
for that week. So it prepares everybody. There's no bias, you know. There's no bias, you know. It could be you. So you're ready. You go with your pen and paper ready to take down
Take notes.
up to the last, crossing your teeth, commas and everything. Why did you pause there when you are reading the news? Should you have paused? Should you have this? Should you have taken it with such a high pitch or whatever it is? Everything is regulated. You know that people are watching, people are monitoring. People, you know, people will talk when you do what is right. But now, maybe I think I probably need to also blame our generation. We seem to have lost interest. I will not exonerate myself of any of this fault. Many of the old timers are not talking. Maybe because of the reactions they got from those that are presently operating. They got put off, they got discouraged. And I don't think we should be discouraged. Those who are way above us were not discouraged by us. And I guess probably upbringing has another thing to do with it. We were ready, we respected people, we respected opinions. But the generation X, Y, Z that we are right now, they don't believe anybody knows more than they do. They don't believe anybody can correct them. They believe that we are old school. It's not our time. It shouldn't be so anymore. So those are the things. I believe that we should not relent in correcting whatever we find wrong.
You're still listening to the Boom Bar. We are at the Legend series right here on your Boom Radio NG, reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria. Tinu Aina-Badejo is our guest, our special guest, and she is the legend for today. And we are talking everything. We started with a little bit of current affairs. So if you're just joining us, you have missed, or like I would like to say, where have you been? Okay, so
What happened?
I just wanted to. You were writing. I don't know what you were scribbling. Always scribbling. So, thank you for being.
I was taught to script.
I know. Another thing that we need to talk about actually, and the reason why we have people like her here is not for any other reason than to make the job of the broadcasters easier. So, if you know anybody that wants to be a broadcaster, or is an aspiring broadcaster, or has started. Don't worry, don't be too proud. Go check out these videos online, or even search for people like Tokunbo Ojakunle, search for people like Tinu Aina-Badejo, and check out what they're saying, what they've said, and what they're doing, you know. We're just basically trying to make it better. And I was almost getting depressed. Yes, honestly. When the things you said are real. The things that I can relate with and to, because I can't listen to radio myself.
Yeah.
Or at times when I catch a familiar voice, I'm like, oh, okay, you know what, this person will. So it's difficult, but we cannot continue like that, because one of the biggest issues we have in broadcasting is that everybody is a Puritan. Everybody from your generation, my generation, even Dolupo's generation, who have come into broadcasting purely for the love of the game. They are Puritans. They're not driven by money. But we want the money to come now and also stay professional. And the only way it will come is when the people who are our colleagues learn the ropes and understand that we need to work together. So nobody's castigating anybody. We're just saying, put in a little bit of work. Do your job and do it properly. Don't come on here and tell me about, we said this off air now, Wizkid wrote this song with Thames. Don't come and tell me that. Tell me something that I don't know about the song, or don't tell me anything at all. Play the music. Let the music play. Honestly, because you're reading from a website that I have already read from anyway. So what makes you different from me is the microphone that they gave to you. So please put in the work. So guys, we've done this, but we're going to continue. We've spent an hour and 19 minutes on the show. We're shutting down in a few minutes time. A few minutes being another 40 something minutes. So don't worry. I just wanted to give you high blood pressure a bit. But we make this about you because we see what you've done and what you're doing. How did you make the transition from radio to TV? And again, you've worked with a couple of people. You've had colleagues that have been difficult and have been nice. You've been able to balance the home front. Thank you and thank God for having a partner that understands and knows what you're doing and sees it. We try not to get too personal at times because, again, we have colleagues who have been through it too. Thank God that it's working out for you and it will continue to work out for you. But again, we need you to advise women, the younger ones, on how they can strike a balance. You know, I don't know how you did it, but especially, how did you make the transition from radio to TV, and who are the colleagues that you met on the job and you really loved working with, the older ones, your contemporaries, and even the younger ones? I'm still going to come back again.
Okay.
As a general manager of a big establishment that you worked with in Lagos, you're back there reading the news in the same structure. There is a new general manager. There have been several after you, right?
Yes.
How are you able to, walk into that place? It must be the love of the job. It must be the love, because it can't be the money.
Don't answer the question.
Yeah, Abi.
What?
Well, great.
Okay.
Do you remember all of it? Do you remember everything?
The transition from radio,
Transition.
the colleagues
Okay.
that you
Colleagues
met,
and met and all.
contemporaries,
Okay.
older,
Really
younger,
good, yeah.
Okay.
and being able to go back to read news.
All right then. We start from the transition, right? Okay. I had always been a radio person, but somewhere along the line, Lagos State also desired to have a television station. After the radio station, there was the need for a television station. And then Mr. Alaji Aremo, I think that's what his title now. Aremo Taiwo Alimi. He was seconded from NTA 10 then, with a group of people, Jemi Odumusu, Shakirat Bakari, Wellington, some Gani Okasumu, and so many Remy, that drama man, Remy Babalola, He had quite a number of them that came with him from LTV, from NTA Channel 10. And they came to form Lagos Television Channel 5 then. That was Channel 5. And then somewhere along the line, they just saw a couple of us that, why don't we join in? As presenters or newsreaders on television. It was a totally new terrain for me then. I'd always been a radio person. And somewhere along the line, I just got drafted in, and I joined them in reading news, being a continuity announcer and so on. More of news reading, really. It was more of news reading I was doing on television then, with the likes of Ola
Jason.
Remy Grillo, Ola Ayeola, Remy Grillo, Shakirat Bakari, Wellington, and so on. That set of people then, we were reading news together on LTV. And I still remained, there was a point in time they completely seconded me to LTV. I think that was in
Reluctantly.
Yeah, 1983. I think it was in 1983. I was really seconded to LTV for about 3 or 4 years before I came back again to radio again. Now, radio is such a thing that it is in your blood. There's nowhere, if you started as a radio person, if you take you to Hollywood, you'll be looking for the radio station in that Hollywood, because radio is so contagious, it is so addictive that you just want radio, because it is on radio that you can give people in-depth about any subject that you are treating. There's distraction in television because the visual is there to distract people. So you tend not to be able to prepare as much as when you are on radio, because it's only your voice alone that is speaking for you on radio, and you must talk sense if it's only voice alone that they are listening to. So you must do your homework very well and do a proper research of the subject that you're doing, because people will critique if you are not doing the right thing or saying the right thing, you know. So that was it. I went back again to radio after about 4 years in television to go back to radio, and then I think I moved from programs to marketing. First of all, it was corporate affairs. It was in corporate affairs, and then to marketing from there. And then from marketing, it was from marketing, director marketing, that I got appointed general manager for Radio Lagos and the Eco FM. And then at that time was when we brought the novelty of internet radio came on. That was when we brought Radio Lagos and Eco FM on the internet. It became the first station in Nigeria to go on the internet. In fact, not even Nigeria, I think it was Africa then that went on the internet. So we started streaming our programs live on the internet. By and by, along the line, just at the twilight of my career, just as I was about to retire, in fact, I had even put in my letter of retirement at that time. That was in the year 2011. And you need 6 months before you retired. I think December, I got the challenge. The then governor, I think it was Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN. He said we had to establish traffic radio. So that was when the running around started, getting, preparing for traffic radio, getting equipment, traveling to Scotland to make sure the right equipment were, purchased for the station. And then we started training as well, because it was a novelty. Nobody knew about traffic radio. How do you report about traffic? What do you report? What kind of programs do you put on, So all those ones came on, and then we had to also train last mile officers as well on how to report. The greenhorns didn't know anything about radio. So right from the highest to the boss to the least, the traffic warden of the streets, they must know the language of radio, what to say on radio when you are reporting about traffic. And this was a crazy time or so in my career, the last 6 months, because that station had to go on. Just a few days, I retired. I retired on the 18th or 19th of May. Traffic radio came on 27th of May.
Wow.
But I had sleepless nights throughout that time to make sure that the station was ready. And the station went on. But then, 3 months to that time, I also got the surprise of my life, because I think it was February, the last day in February, I just got a call from the head of service saying I should come to his office. There was a letter waiting for me. I said, what letter? Kenemoshi, that kind of thing. When you get a letter from the secretariat, it means you've done something, And then he handed the letter to me and he said, the state governor just appointed you a permanent secretary. I said, what? I put in my letter of retirement. He said, yes, I know. You are putting your letter of retirement. I said, permanent secretary, yes. Permanent secretary, Lagos State Radio Service. Okay, so be it. So what am I saying? Whatever you do with passion, whatever you do, people observe it. If you believe that nobody sees, nobody knows, people are observing. You reap the reward at a point in time. And then, as I said, if it is with passion, you want to give it your all. You are particular about the continuity of that vision that was handed over to you. You are asking me, how is it I could be
I'm sorry. The disruptor is back. Can you kindly say that again?
Like what?
The vision.
If you have a vision and you have a passion for that vision, you will make sure it is not corrupted. Is it? You will not allow it to be corrupted. Which is what brought me back again to radio. I think the general manager, one or two that came up after me, Deroju, Moleye, then Funke Moore. She just put a call to me. Madam, please, please, I would like, can you please stop over? Because I had gone into farming when I retired. I went into Greek, I went into farming, and I was coming from the farm. I said, okay, I'll stop over. So I stopped over, and he said, excuse me, ma, I'm having problems with my presenters and newsreaders. Can you please take on 1 or 2 spots of news for me in a week, so that at least that will, they will have a role model. They will have somebody to look up to. They will know how it is done well, so that when they are there, I said, sure, why not? And that was how I started. And I had 2 spots in a week. I would take on Monday, I would take on Thursday, I would take on Radio Lagos and Eko FM on Monday, Radio Lagos Eko FM on Thursday. And it has been on since then.
Fantastic.
When she retired, somebody else, I think Ayo Shoton, I came on. I had taken this is enough. I've had enough. She came, her driver brought her to my house. I said, excuse me, man, you can't stop. Not during my watch. You will not stop. You have to continue. I said, oh boy. I said, that's okay, nice. This is a blackmail. So that was what brought me back again, to come on and read news again. And then she retired again October last year. I said, I'm done. They've listened, they know how to do it. Lo and behold, the new president, excuse me, ma. Me, I'm from Secretariat. I'm an administrator. I don't even know anything about broadcasting. You can't leave me midstream like this. So here we are. That's what brought me back, to come back to read news for them. I do that twice a week. It keeps me in touch with the job, and I have the satisfaction that at least I'm impacting on the coming generation. Fantastic. That is it.
Oh. Fantastic. It's I will feel myself if I don't take you back to your fellowship with the British Council. Mm-hmm. How did that come about?
I think it was you that was telling me about the program, and then you just brought the form. You said, there's this program with the British Council. Okay. I think you'll be interested with this. I said, don't leave me alone. I think he actually even filled the form. I just signed. That was all. I just signed, and he just took it to British Council.
My God.
And they said we should look for sponsors. So I said, who will sponsor me? I don't want. There was one former commissioner for information that we had in Lagos State. I think it's Professor Ivoji or something like that. Yes. And then there were supposed to be 2. And Mrs. Abiola, MK Abiola's wife, the one that was running Concord then, after her. Dr. Abiola's her first name now.
Doyin
Abiola, that was it. That was another person. I just walked into her. I didn't know her from Adam.
Wow.
I just walked into her office. She said, why not? You're a woman. If that is what I can do to support your career, why not? She there and then she just endorsed me. Wow. She never knew me from Adam. We have never met before. She endorsed, and the rest is history. So that is it. Except that I carried the pregnancy to to that program. I was about 5 months pregnant when I went for that scholarship. Wow. So I had a baby through that program, and we thank God.
Yeah. What was the experience like?
It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in broadcasting. It opened my eyes to better ways of broadcasting, newer things about broadcasting that we didn't know about. But then they gave it to us that in Nigeria that we knew the rudiments of broadcasting, because they were telling me there's hardly anything new we can tell you, only how to do it better. You seem to know everything. You introduce this topic, you know it. We introduce this aspect of broadcasting, you know it. What then are we teaching you? We are going to learn from you or something.
Wow.
But then it was fun because after that, when I came back to Nigeria, I think I was promoted. I became controller presentation. That was when I was promoted, and that was a relatively new office then. There was never something like controller presentation. We had head of presentation, but I was made a controller presentation. And then I wrote back to British Council that as a result of the scholarship that I enjoyed from you, this is what happened. And they got excited again. And they sent me another invitation to go around 14 radio stations in UK.
Wow.
To learn more about broadcasting, about presentation, up to Northern Ireland. There was a station in Northern Ireland so that I could see how to broadcast in a politically violent environment. That was the reason why I was sent to Northern Ireland then, to see that station. And it was real fun all the way, real fun. And through that experience, in broadcasting, there's no end to the knowledge you can acquire in broadcasting. It opens you up on a daily basis to new things, new idea, new culture, new environment, new people. So that is just it.
Oh, I asked the question because most of the time when people travel out for such experiences and come back, it's like everybody's walking backwards when you come back. You just, what is happening?
Yeah, but the thing
and it comes around with the equipment you're exposed to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the modes of things, because by the time you are coming back, imagine what are we still doing with internet? But really great. Yes, we were doing something.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's very interesting that you get this kind of, and just because somebody just said feel something, and are those opportunities that much now, or there's a lot of there are too many people with those same little opportunities? That's the thing, because I'm guessing that there weren't as much presenters or producers or people generally in the media business as much as they are now. Of course, then there weren't as many TV or radio stations and all this. We have blogs now. Media is like really huge now. So are those opportunities still there, or they're there but they're just really that little because of the massive thing the media is now?
I think the opportunities are still there. It's just that people are not curious enough to search, and then also to make inquiries about them. I know that up till tomorrow, British Council is still offering that opportunity to people, and you say it is there. United States Information Service, USIS, they are there as well. They are also offering this kind of opportunities, but maybe out of ignorance, because people don't know such opportunities are available, or because the leadership of some of these radio stations are misfit. They don't know much about you have a round plug in a square hole, so that kind of thing. They don't know where to look for what, for their people. So that's probably another thing.
You talked about leadership, and it brings to mind ownership.
Okay.
And I know that we've gotten to a point in this country where they say licenses are available, but the personalities to buy them are very few. And I always marvel at such. So you have people who are boxed with a lot of money, who perchance decide to veer into TV or radio ownership, and you find them apply for these licenses, and they get these licenses. Okay, what is that? Would you say that's the limiting to standards of professionalism?
It is, to a certain extent, because many of this category of people that you have mentioned, they are into what profit they can make out of it. They believe that it is profitable, and then, but media is really not that profitable for now. Particularly radio, maybe you can begin to get some returns, maybe after 3-4 years of starting up. But television, maybe 7 years after, you can begin to make profit after that. But are investors that patient enough to wait for that gestation period before you start, milking whatever investment that you have put in? It is when you are passionate about something you have invested in that you are ready to wait that time out. But if you don't know much about it, if it's only because of the naira value that is attached to it that brought you into it,
there's a problem.
Yes,
There's a problem.
Yeah.
I have a question with I think that because from the way I see a lot of things, compared to your generation or maybe the generation after you, and with the young people coming into the media now, there is, I think one of the issues that when you hear a lot of people on radio, on television or on the internet, whatever, and then you hear a lot of things that they say, you see a lot of people are uninformed, how you present, how you pronounce words, all those things all together. And you're like, okay, this person's presentation is bad. We all have issues with those things. Do you think that there is some form of an information gap? Like, I mean, the older generation not wanting to impart knowledge. Yes, do I agree that the younger generation, there's a large chunk of the younger generation that do not, or do they feel that they know enough to just do whatever it is. These days, everybody's a blogger, everybody's an OAP. With your phone, you're a journalist. But is it also that, I've seen it once or twice, that it's almost like this older person that you know for a fact that this person is an amazing broadcaster, but you don't see the teaching part of it. And is it also what we can say is one of the reasons why we're where we are today in the media?
Probably, as you said, maybe there's a sort of despondency. People don't want to mentor anymore because of attitude of the younger generation. But as I said, if you are that passionate about this profession, you look away from the attitude. Forget about the negativity. Forget about the lukewarmness of the younger generation. Still say your own. Posterity will judge you. That at least you've done something. Today I can talk about Mr. Obiano that will not let you be. If you made any mistake on air, BC Lawrence will always call you if you made any mistakes and so on. But then, how many Obiano Lades and BC Lawrence do we still have now that are ready to look away from the attitude of the practicing broadcasters now? We must learn to look away from attitude and propagate the continuity of this profession. Otherwise, it will die. It's as simple as that.
Well, so many things won't die if we don't allow them to die.
Yeah.
One would be our vision for the future. Okay? What hope do you have in the broadcasting industry has towards the development of the nation, particularly when you think politics?
There's hope. There is hope. It might be slim, but there is hope. We still have one or two who are still committed, who are ready to keep it going and fight for the image of the nation and we probably need to have a chat with politicians to leave professionals to do their job the way it should be done. Politicians should not try to pocket broadcasters and believe that because he who pays the piper must dictate the tune. No, there's the area of professionalism that you cannot afford to butt in. Leave the professionals to do their job the way it should be done. I remember before we retired, the year, I think 2009, or which election did we have? There was an election, and Radio Lagos Eko FM, we got an award for the best unbiased radio station for political news reporting at that time. It was an independent body that did it. We are supposed to be biased because we are a government organization, but we were not. We saw that it was the taxpayers that were paying, not a political party. So because we had a forum whereby we brought all political parties together And we allocated time for each and every political party that they must come on air. Come and air your manifesto, whoever it is. And they had equal share of time for coming on air. And everything went smoothly. If the present day politicians could allow these people
Those things.
to do their jobs professionally, and if the professionals too have enough courage to be able to do their jobs and not afraid of my salaries will be held, there's no way, money will not come again. So that is just it. There is hope.
All right. Speaking about hope, you're still listening to the Legend series on your Boom Radio NG. Tinu Aina-Badejo is in the building. We are excited. We have been schooled. We're still being schooled. We're learning. We're discussing, and we love it. And we're talking the business side of radio now. You talked about influences from the owners. It could be government, or it could be private individuals, and that's why the few media houses that are owned by practitioners are actually thriving. The very few. I don't want to mention names, but yesterday we had a discussion with a colleague of yours. We'll mention his name freely. Dirijo Adepoju. He actually said nice things about you. He didn't even know you were coming through. Then we told him off air. And there's something that we've always noticed about the industry in the area of marketing and business. The print media, they do not do credit for their adverts. The print media get paid upfront. You want to put an advert in a newspaper or a magazine, you pay. You pay before you even send your material. But in broadcasting, especially in radio, you take the material, you review or not review, but you play that material, then wait 60, 90 days, sometimes 365 days or more.
Or you might never get the money.
Or you never get paid.
You are always doing for reconciliation. You are always going for reconciliation.
How did we get here? And what do you think we can do? Because you don't answer the question. Ask the question. How did we get here?
Thank you so much.
I thought he was supposed to.
No, he actually.
Oh, for me to answer. Oh, okay.
I think based on your experience.
The advertisers, I don't know, they have a penchant for owning radio or TV stations. And I don't want to get a knock here to say that there are some advertisers that have agreements or relationships or whatever it is with some media practitioners as well, that they I'm trying to be careful here now. There are times when you find out that you are not being paid because there's a connivance between your staff and some advertisers.
Oh yeah. I'm sitting up for this one.
And there are some that are there. They are in agreement and say if you look away, maybe some percentage will come to you at the end of the day. But if you know that without these fees, this money is being paid, your salaries might be withheld. You probably will be more loyal to your organization than to your cronies in the advertising world. That is just it. And then we did something when we started a co-FM. Was it a co-FM that you had to pay upfront?
Oh yes, well, a co-FM.
You must pay upfront before you put any advert on the co-FM. And that way, we knew how much was coming. You could bank on how much was coming. But with Radio Lagos now, you could it was Radio Lagos that was doing payment first. You must make an upfront payment.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was when we went 100% Yoruba in Radio Lagos.
Yes, sure.
It became a darling that everybody wanted to be on Radio Lagos at that point in time. You had to pay up front. So we were getting our money from Radio Lagos. But in Co-FM, because we are ready to follow the rule of advertising, I think it's 60 days that you have before you make payment, they were owing us lots. And some we even had to forgo. We had to go and do reconciliation. How much percentage are you going to look away from? At the end of the day, whatever check you come back rejoicing that at least you still had something that you came back with. To pay salaries. So I think the advertisers, they know what they are doing. They know because is there any court of arbitration you are taking them? They have bodies that will say you can take them to this regulatory body, but then even in the regulatory, who are the ones in the regulatory body that are there? And are going to fight your battle for you. So that is just it.
I think that the way to go is just to always push out ideas, so new stations and even the existing stations will have an idea of what is happening. And I look forward, Shola, very soon to you having an advertiser in the house, advertising a guru in the house who will be able to explain,
break down,
break these things down for us, because it was always foggy for us. So we're very foggy, and the clients will be. Don't even talk about
it. The bills will be mounting up.
The bills
will
be
mounting up. You, they will never pay.
And I remember, when we go back and renegotiate what? A service that has been delivered for years running.
At a certain
and
value.
Still a certain value. And we're still renegotiating. Most of the agencies will come back later, maybe years after you've left. Oh God, don't worry. That period, we collected the money, we spent the money.
Yes.
Yeah, so sad.
Okay. So that we don't all get too sad and depressed and everything, we actually we are happy people. A wise man once said, "We are happy people. We make you happy. Happy.
No, you didn't. Not happy. Happy.
Sorry, happy. Happy. I stand corrected.
Thank you very much.
Because there was another wise man that said, "Ask your mommy." And when late, one bad gone.
The new crops of guys on there, right?
Ask your
mommy.
Yeah, I always accept that.
So broadcasting is not all doom and gloom, and we're celebrating our own. We know how to get these things done. We've made a lot of people happy.
Okay, really?
You say actually happy. So the thing is, have you had any kind of fun experience where people who listened to you, your name will precede you, obviously, and
the person meets you and you're like,
what kind of fun experiences have you had? Maybe when people, just like the person that heard your voice when you were producing, now that was an insider. What kind of fun experience have you had where you're out there or you're on your own and you get some kind of feedback? It actually puts a smile on your face.
Well, I think several, because the reason being that television gave exposure.
Okay, yeah.
So people got to know you. And then I was also into comparing of programs. I was master of ceremonies, mostly for government functions and events, So you get to meet, several people. So you are so. Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. That kind of thing. I look forward to seeing you, and that kind. It's refreshing. It encourages you to do more. That is it. Appreciated.
It's good to be appreciated. And talking about appreciation, before we talk about appreciation, there are young people out there who are watching now, who are listening. Give them tips on how to become very good broadcasters. Give them quick tips on how to be. Of course, we know there's no quick fix, but what are the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things that they should do to excel?
Study.
You see, just 5 things. Study. 5.
Just 5.
Don't do more than
6.
that.
Just 5.
I saw a tweet from someone and I made a screen grab of it. A guy was giving advice. He said that he has learned in life that there are 2 things in life. 1, don't give out all the information you have. And he didn't write number 2. He wrote 2 and he put a dot there.
So it starts with
That's
him.
all.
That's
Right?
it.
That's already, yeah.
That's it.
He's giving you an advice.
That's
He's
it.
taking his own advice.
Number 2, dot. And that's what she's done now. Study. So back to appreciation. Back to appreciation. Appreciation. We would like to appreciate what you've done for us. I've been pushing an agenda, and everybody has agreed with me that broadcasters are cultists. Yes. Yes. It is a cult. You people love each other so much. You support each other.
Oh yeah.
And I deliberately used it. Sounded negative, but of course it is an affirmative and a positive thing. The way broadcasters react to each other, talk about each other. You mention names that if we go and do a little bit of digging, you probably haven't spoken to them in 30 or 40 years, but you did mention them, and that's how it works here, you know. So we like to appreciate you and say we're happy to be a part of your cult, you know, the cult of broadcasting. And we want it to get better. Relax. It's just a play upon words. Nigerians are the ones that are giving that word a bad name. It's not that bad.
Okay. It's
So-
not that bad, but it's bad.
It's not bad at all.
Okay.
Broadcasting is not
Don't
bad.
argue.
No,
It's so silly.
it's relative. Yeah, thank you. It's not bad. No.
Don't argue with him.
So on that note, Tokumbo and Dolupo would like to do a little bit of a presentation
Me?
to you now. You know, just as the
Okay.
program is coasting on. We're shutting down in 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and so Tokumbo and
Let me
Dolupo,
help out.
yes please, would like to present, you know, a certificate of recognition
I'm so happy to.
and an award plaque
No,
to
take
you.
one. You take one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Then you represent.
Yeah, that's
And,
right. Do I get up? Yeah, you may. Yeah, it makes it easier. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So Boom Radio presents to Tinu Aina-Badejo for her achievement in broadcast journalism. And we're wishing you the very best and hoping that this stays with you, your office, also your home, all
Take my
the
picture.
time. Yeah, highly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
so much.
I really appreciate
Yes,
you.
yes.
Thank you for the honor.
Okay, it's the same thing I've written already.
So it's been
Thank
read
you so
already.
much, ma, for coming. We are. I am especially honored in the past few weeks. People that I'm not sure I would have met on a normal
Oh,
day.
really?
Yeah, let's be honest. I probably wouldn't have met. But I'm very, very honored to meet you, to be this close to.
Same here.
Oh,
Same here.
It's not right.
Instagram. It's going viral.
It's Instagram. Instagram. Cool.
Thank you so much, ma.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for the honor.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you so much.
All right.
So much.
And again, of course, we're going to repeat this as we sign off now. We would like to talk to you about your choice of music, the kind of artist that you would like to play or that you used to play as we leave. We're out of here in a minute and a half.
I just roll this. And also to the world's best husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
So
for your
much.
support all through these years. all through the. You have been a beacon of admiration for many of us, and we've heard that for a long time. So we know now that what we see you do and what you saw you do in those days, we have put to practice in our lives. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, broadcasting joined us together. Wow.
Thank you, sir. All right, Dolu.
Okay, so last your kind of music.
Well, apart from gospel music, I love Whitney Houston.
Okay.
He's got one of the greatest voice in the world.
Yeah,
Wow.
I agree. I totally agree. totally agree. Oh, okay. So we'll add that too. We'll definitely add that to our list. And on that note, that is all we'll be able to take today. You want to say something?
No, just another message. Bukola Medubi says, awesome. I really enjoyed this program. Thank you. God bless you. That's out on YouTube. Thank you very much. Every single comment means a lot to us.
Yeah, so on that note, that is all we'll able to take today on the Boom Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We definitely will be back again here tomorrow with another person. You know we said it that this week.
Legends Week.
It's Legends Week this
Tomorrow, I'll
week.
let the cat out of the bag. Tomorrow, we will have the President General of the Nigerian Football Supporters and other sports talking about Dr. Rafiu Oladipo. He's coming here tomorrow.
So have fun, enjoy. There's still this is still on YouTube. You definitely watch this. It was just Boom Radio NG. You could go back and watch the whole interview on Boom Radio NG on YouTube. So have fun, enjoy yourself. What else? Do not don't go about slapping people.
Don't slap anybody.